So I've done some more work on the IK stuff, so it works on desktop as well, which should also mean the iPad. So I'll show you how I did this amazing thing. So I'm going to stop, and I'm going to just reset, and reset. So the sort of juggle here was making sure that it works comfortably on desktop with a mouse or an input with multiple buttons, as well as on iPad with essentially the single click. So it should work on both. So I'm going to delete the default sphere and going to go to the tools and into bones. So I can right click drag on desktop and I can pan, which is useful for the bones mode because left click is going to try and make a joint. I've also on desktop enabled keyboard shortcuts for the view. So you can hit F to go to the front, L to go to the left, and you can also hit O to toggle orthographic mode, although it seems to be broken. That's something to play with. Anyway, so I'm going to do what I did on the VI demo. So I'll start with the hips. I'm going to go to the front now and go like that. Then I'm going to go to the left view and do a knee, an ankle, and a foot. And to finish off, you can click on the last joint. So now I can spin around and see what I got here. Is ortho working now? Yeah, so O for ortho is working. Just wanted to make sure. The other handy thing, because I'm lazy, is in the way that for clay sculpting, you would make a wire armature and then you would put clay on top of it. I've added this make skin button that will do the same. So it looks at the capsule sizes and will just make a very simple joint chain, a very simple mesh around it, sort of in the style of Z-spheres. It's not perfect. I definitely want to make this better, but for now, for testing, this is fine. What you can also do is if you turn on capsules and you play with the radius tool, you can affect these proportions. So it might go like skinny thighs, but fat ankles. It's, I'm emulating my exact body shape and go make skin. So that's now got that sort of thing. And now I can immediately go bind mesh. And so you can see that's now been bound. So if I turn off the capsules, you can see these are the weights. That's, I think, more or less correct. And if I turn off the weight view, we're back to what you'd expect. So then in terms of the full body IK, it's working pretty stable now. So if I go into IK mode, and if I, so to set the pins on desktop, you can just tap on a bone. So you can see that's put a position pin. If I tap again, it's position and rotation pin. So I'll do the same over here. If you do it too quickly, it'll zoom. I got to fix that. So now I can grab the hips and you can see that that's pretty stable. So the knees always bend forward and I can lift the feet off the ground and it does what you expect. To go back to the bind pose, you can just press this bind pose button. So what that means is now this is pretty stable for animation. So I'm going to press this key pose button and that's set a key. So just make sure you're in the dope sheet mode over here. So I'll start from there. I'll drop the legs to there, set a key, go the other way, like that, set a key, and go back to the bind pose over here. And now I'll do a jump like I did before, so a little anticipation, and another key at the same point, and then I'll lift up quickly, yoink, key pose, hover there for a bit, and then back down to the ground, bind pose, key, little settle, down a bit, key, and then back to the bind pose. So I haven't wired this into these controls, so you can't marquee select and move these keys yet. I will get that working as well as all the other toys, but it does kind of work. It's actually not bad. You can change the display mode of the bones with these buttons here, so you can turn off the solid view or the wireframe or the extra helpers. I think I hinted at this last time. You can also still subdivide the mesh. So while you're in bones mode, it recognizes what is the bound mesh. So these controls still work. So I can subdivide that a few times. It's still surprisingly performant, even though this is doing a real-time subdiv. It seems okay. This obviously needs more work, but I feel this is trending in the right direction. Yeah, have a play. Should work on all platforms. It's really nice in VR because what I'm doing for desktop is I grab the rotation at the time that you click and drag, and it tries to lock onto that rotation. Whereas with VR, it's tracking the full translation and rotation of your hand, so you can do really expressive poses one-handed really easily. Yeah, have a play.